can read it to the court. He is from the policy, the head policy in the component governance, legislation and policy in the Division of Legal Services of the South African Police. He made this statement and there's no authority, there's no section or standing order that he says this. I can read the statement into the docket. So if I'm being told there is an authority, I don't know where it's coming from, because this brigadier is from the policy division of the South African Police, and he says there's no policy that prescribes a specific form. It's a statement under oath signed by him, my lord, and it was, as I said, it was done last year.
Uyasho khona ke njalo ke ufakazi ukuthi lapha kwakhe kune statement ke asiphethe esabhalwa komnumzana uPeter William Nimber Ninaba lapho kabhala khona ke ukuthi yena ke usebenza kuma office amakhulu ke la ngaphansi kwe policy in the component governance, legislation and policy in the division and legal services. So lapho usebenza kuma office amakhulu la benza khona ke imithetho futhi nalabahlala khona ke bahlala khona ke phansi mana nezemithetho zala iningizimu Africa.
Thank you, Brigadier. This is my time to cross-examine. If there's a need for whatever information that you have that the state feels needs to be placed on record, they will still have an opportunity in re-exam to place that information on record.
Uyabonga ke umeli ke fakazi kepha ke uyasho ukuthi uma ngaba khona ke udaba noma mhlambe into ongathanda ukuthi uyitshele ke inkantolo ke kwamanje akumele ukuthi uyikhulume ngoba uyena ke ubuza ke imibuzo ke uma ngabe kukho okuthizeni okukhohliwe uzobuya ke ukhulume uma ngabe ihlangothi lezoshushiso sephinda bebuya futhi kubuza ke imibuzo.
No, my lord, that may be true, but I cannot agree to an assertion that is not correct. When I'm being told I'm wrong when I say there is no prescribed policy or standing order that says a specific form must be used. How do I agree with that when I know it's not correct? I'm sitting with a statement of the custodian of the policy. He stated clearly he's the custodian of the standing orders in the South African Police, and he says, and he's a brigadier for that matter, there is no prescribed form in the warning statement. How do I agree with the assertion that is put to me? And I'm being told now, because I'm under cross-examination, that will be wrong of me to agree to that.
Brigadier, you have just said that what I put to you is incorrect. When I say you are incorrect, and you are saying to me, no, you are correct. In other words, when I say to you, you are incorrect, I am incorrect myself. But the reading of that information that you have, that will be in the domain of the state. Remember, I'm not here representing the state. Do you understand? And there's a procedure here at court. Unfortunately, on a number of occasions, that procedure has just been let to go the way in which it went. But what I'm putting it to you that now is that you are wrong when you say that there's no authority within the context of the South African Police Services that says that that prescribed, there's no specific form that is prescribed by the South African Police Services, a form that should be used when a suspect statement is taken. I'm saying in that regard, you are wrong. And allow me to proceed with my line of cross-examination.
Fakazi athi-ke ummeli malana nalempendulo yakho manwanyana nencazelo yakho ke leyo ke awukhulumile iqiniso ukhulumeke amanga ngokuthi awukho ke umthetho onephoqathi izisebenze ke iform ethizini noma iform ekhethekile uma ngabe nethatha ke istatement kuyiboshwa noma kuba solo.
My lord, yes, the applicant Mnisi can proceed, but I can't agree that I'm wrong when what I know, supported by the custodian of the standing orders, agrees with me. How do I say I'm wrong? Unless then I must refer to the state, to that authority. I don't know where it's coming from, because the statement before me comes from the custodian, a brigadier in the policy section of the police, and he says there is no prescribed form when you take a warning statement prescribed by the police. There's no such policy. How could I agree with what I'm being told, my lord?
Thank you. When you say you don't agree with me, I'm not saying you should agree with me.
Sorry, Mr. Mnisi.
Maintain your position.
We're still going to go around. Can I have that document?
Yes, my lord, you may.
Because you're arguing about documents which you have, which I don't have. Can I have that document? Because you're talking about documents which were handed over, hello, sorry, did you hand over this document to
To the state advocate, my lord. That was last
the
year, my
defense?
lord.
Does the defense have it? Hello?
I'm just trying to
Mr. Ramsepili, do you have the document?
remember if...
Okay, you'll have it.
Yeah.
I want to follow the
My
argument.
colleague says we did give them. We can mark it Exhibit ZZ
No, fine, I'll just read.
3.
Because it also has what it calls as an SAPM. But I'll just read what he claims to be the policy. No. I want this one, which was being quoted by the Brigadier. Yeah, this is the one you're quoting, eh?
Yes, my lord. Just that it is an attachment that I...
Yeah, I see. That's why I'm saying it is attached to this statement regarding interview with the suspect, which is called SAP 3M.
Yes, that's the one we're debating before court, my lord.
No, he's not debating that. Affidavit in terms of section...
Sorry, my lord, as the court pleases.
Yeah,
Maybe I need to bring the following to the attention of the court.
yeah.
Remember, the court is an arbiter.
Yes.
Now, when the court reads that document into record, there might be instances where the person who wrote that document, there are instances where that person who wrote that document may be required to come and testify.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. If you want him to come, no problem. I will issue the subpoena for you.
Now, what I'm saying, my lord, is let that document rather be read into record by the person.
No.
Thank you, my lord.
You are saying there is no policy. He says he can't agree with you
No, my lord.
because there is a policy.
No, I am saying,
Yes,
he is saying there is no policy.
that's it. And you are saying
And I am saying to
He's
him,
wrong.
He is wrong.
that's it. So,
Yes.
as an arbiter, I'm
Yes.
taking the two composite assertions, okay? And I'm entitled to do that
Yes,
because
my
you can't agree.
lord. We'll never agree because
Okay,
this is
fine.
cross-examination, my lord.
Affidavit in terms of section
Yes.
234 of the Criminal Procedure Act. Can you just read section 234 for us?
Pertains to official documents.
Yeah, just read it so that we all are on the same page.
Proof of official documents. Section 234, subsection 1.
Right?
It shall, at criminal proceedings, be sufficient to prove an original official document which is in the custody or under the control of any state official by virtue of his office, if a copy thereof or an extract thereof, certified as a true copy or extract by the head of the department concerned or by any state official authorized thereto by such head, is produced in evidence at such proceedings.
Yeah, fine.
Subsection 2, paragraph A. An original official document referred to in subsection 1, other than the record of judicial proceedings,
Right?
may be produced at criminal proceedings only upon the order of the Attorney General. Then paragraph B, it shall not be necessary for the head of the department concerned to appear in person to produce an original document under paragraph A, but such document may be produced by any person authorized thereto by such head. Then subsection 3, any official who under subsection 1 certifies any copy or extract as true, knowing that such copy or extract is false, shall be guilty of an offense and liable on conviction to imprisonment for a period not exceeding 2 years.
Okay, fine. That's enough for the purposes of this court. This is said to be an affidavit in terms of section 234 of the Criminal Procedure Acts 1977. Peter Willem Ninabar states under oath in English, I am an adult male with ID number. He mentions the ID number. I'm 55 years old, employed as section head policy in the component governance legislation and policy in the division legal services of the South African Police Services, SAPS, holding the rank of a brigadier, and he mentions his telephone number. My duties at Legal Services inter alia include the following: drafting and maintenance of delegation documents, drafting of national instructions and revising of standing orders, maintenance of the database, version control and safekeeping of policies, national instructions and standing orders, and drafting of legal opinions for the management of the South African Police. I am the custodian of all policy, national instructions and standing orders in the SAPS. On the 26th of November 2024, Brigadier Keninda made inquiries regarding policy or directives of the South African Police dealing with the South African Police 3M statement regarding interview with a suspect, also commonly known as warning statement. I indicated that I could not find a policy or directive of the South African Police specifically dealing with the completion of the SAPA 3MM form attached as PWN, the one which is attached here. Paragraph 5.1 of the National Instruction 6 of 2014, that is the prevention and combating of torture of persons, attached as PNWN2, inter alia deals with the interviewing of persons in custody and provides as follows. Every member must follow the following instructions when interviewing a person in custody. 1. Before the commencement of the interview of a person in custody who has been arrested for alleged commission of an offense, members conducting the interview must identify themselves and inform the person in a language he or she understands, A, of the offense in respect of which he or she will be interviewed, B, of his or her rights to consult with a legal practitioner or his or her choice, or should he or she prefer to apply to be provided with the services of a legal practitioner by the state. C, that he or she has the right to remain silent and that anything he or she says may be used as evidence in a court of law. And D, of his or her right to apply to be released on bail. From the SAPS 3MM, Form SAPS 3MM contains instructions relating to the use and completion of the form. These instructions need to be followed when completing the form. It is my prayer that this Honorable Court take judicial notice of the above. I know and understand the contents of the statement, and I have no objection to taking the oath, and it is signed on the 17th of November 2024 at 10:15 by Brigadier the Camper. He is the authority who certified this. Can you give this also a citation? Yeah, you can continue, sir, if you want to continue.
The exhibits ZZ in brackets 1 in brackets B.
Okay.
La kade khona ke befunda ke malana ne affidavit eqhamuka ke kumuntu othe wabhala ke lo hlelo lolu lwa-affidavit elibhala ngaphansi kwezomthetho lapho ke usection R234 ngaphansi kwezomthetho wala iningizimu Afrika ku-Act Procedure Act of 1977 la uyasho ukuthi wena ke igama lakhe yena ke uPeter William Nina Bay uyasho khona njalo ukuthi yabhala kwabhala ngaphansi kolwimi lesingisi ukubhala futhi ethatha isifungo ngaphansi kolwimi lesingisi la yasho khona ukuthi yena ke umuntu wesilisa ke onale ID number imininingwane kamazisi wakhe ke ikhona lapho ke futhi iminyaka ewu55 ubudala ke ngenasho ukuthi usebenza wena uqashiwe futhi yasebenza usebenza ngaphansi kwe section head futhi yena ke umholi noma mhlambe induna noma mhlambe umphathi wale section asebenza kuyona ke policy in the component governance legislation and futhi policy in the division legal services ngaphansi usebenza ngezomthetho ke lapho ke labenza khona ke imithetho babhala khona ke imithetho zesiphoyisa khona ke la sebenza khona ke lapho ke futhi yasho khona nje usebenza ngaphansi kwe South African Police Services usebenza ke isiphoyisa sala eNingizimu Afrika ke futhi isikhundla sebenza kusona ke isikhundla sokuthi naye ubrigadier ke futhi bese wafaka inombolo zocingo lwakhe khona ngalapho ke futhi la ngenzansi ke ubhalile khona ke njalo ke ukuthi izinto ke abavame ukuthi bazenze lapho ke lapha illegal services abazenza njalo futhi into abayilandelayo ke lapho ke uma ngabe be drafta noma besenza ke ama maintenance wama document lapho ke futhi uma be drafta ke ama national instructions noma bephinda futhi bebuyisela ke ama order akade kulokho avele akhona ke noma mhlawumbe ku maintain ke ama database wakhona ke noma izinto abazibonayo mhlawumbe ugcina ke izinto ngendlela ephephile lapho ke kuma national instructions noma ama standing orders uyasho futhi ukuthi khona njalo ba drafta ke ama legal opinions no for lokuzana abaphathi noma ama manager kwalapho ke ngaphansi kwezesiphoyisa ke lapho kuyasho ukuthi na uyena ke umuntu obhalile ke uhlelo lolu futhi elibhala ngaphansi kwama instructions noma kwama orders akhona ke ngaphansi kwezesiphoyisa ke uyasho ukuthi ngelanga la nge26 ngenyaka kaNovember ngomnyaka ka 2024 ondluleke umnumzana ubrigadier Gininda wamcela ukuthi ke amlekelele kuthizeni ke ngamalana nokuthi amtholele ke amapholisa akhuluma qondile ke noma phicelezi ngodaba lama directives aqhamuka lapho ke ngaphansi kwe SAPS akhuluma ngendlela abasebenza ngayo ke ngaphansi kwe SAPS 3M abasathi bracket M futhi ke shothi lapho ke ama statement regarding interview with the suspect also commonly known as the warning statement shothi lapho ke inkulumo abavama ukuthi mhlambe umuntu othatha istatement kumsolo wakhe futhi nomsolo inkulumo abavama abajwayele ukuthi bahlale phansi bayixoxe noma mhlambe bayenzeke uma bebhala kama statement lawo ke uyiboshwa noma inkulumo yabasolwa wakhe uyasho ukuthi kwakhe lapho ngenzansi yena ke akakazi akuthole okuthizeni noma okukhethekile mayelana nomthetho ekumele bawulandele lapho ke ngaphansi kwesiphoyisa uma ngabe igcwalisa ke ama form lawo ke SAPS 3MMM le khona ke lapho ngaphansi le form lena ke shothi na ihamba nale form leni bayibhala ukuthi PWN1 bese lapho wathi paragraph 5 open bracket bese athi 1 lapho kuma national instructions ka 6 of 2014 uyasho ukuthi lona ke bahambi noma besenza lo hlelo lolwabo lokhu ke uyasho khona njalo ukuthi lokhu ke okulandelayo la ngenzansi ukuthi bonke abasebenza ngaphansi kweziphoyisa uma ngabe besebenza mayana nohlelo lwabo lokuba nenkulumo mhlawumbe ingxoxo neziboshwa noma mhlawumbe nabasolwa ke kwamele ukuthi balandele yiphi ke imigoma uma behlezi phansi bedikita udaba lolo ke futhi aqhubeka washo ukuthi abezesiphoyisa uma befika ke bethola ke iboshwa lapho zikhona ke ngaphambi kwenkulumo yabo kwamele bafike lapho bazazise ukuthi bona ke boba namagama iphoyisa elifika lapho kwamele litshele ke umsolwa igama lalo futhi lizazise ngolimi leli umsolwa nalo ayothi alizwisise nje kahle ke futhi bese lapho kuyasho ukuthi khona ngenza futhi atshele ke umsolwa malana necala azoba nenkulumo naye mayelana necala lelo ke futhi abuya futhi asho ukuthi ngenza amtshele mayelana amalungelo akhe ezomthetho lokho ukuthi unelungelo lokuthola ke ummeli noma ayikhulumele uma ngabe nganayo ke ummeli ihlangothi lozombuso lothi limtholeke ummeli ke futhi uqhubeka washo khona njalo ukuthi nake lapho ke kubhale ukuthi kumele ukuthi angasho lutho ngoba inkulumo nenkulumo othi ayisebenzise bangathi bayisebenzise mayelana naye ngaphambi kwenkantolo ezomthetho waqhubeka washo khona njalo ukuthi lapho ke amthetho futhi unelungelo ukuthi angafaka isicelo sokuthi athole ke ibail waqhubeka washo khona njalo ukuthi konke lokho ke kukhona la ngaphakathi bokurekhodile ngaphakathi kwalo SAPS 3MM futhi washo khona ke ngenzansi ukuthi lapho kule form lena ka SAPS 3MM iyona ke phethe ke imigomo noma indlela kumthi bayilandele ehambisana nalo loludaba lolu ke futhi washo ukuthi lokhu kungasetshenziswa inkantolo futhi wafunga khona njalo ke bese bayisayina ke ngelanga la nge-27 ngenyanga kaNovember kumnyaka 2024 ngesikhathi imizuzu ewu10 ngemuva kwehora la ka10 kusasa.
Yeah. Yes, sir. You can continue.
Certainly, I'm going to request
What?
at whatever point that this Nina guy should come so that
Yeah, no, you can come.
Yes.
Yeah, fine. You must call him. You want him here. You must call him.
Yes, I'm going to call
No
him.
problem.
Yes.
Because he is the head, according to him.
Yes.
Unless he makes an affidavit and he misleads this court. Because he says, I indicated that I could not find a policy or directive of the South African police
Yes.
specifically dealing with the completion of Form 3MM, which is the form you guys are talking about,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And this thing is akin, we've dealt with this thing. This thing is akin to, remember, I don't know if you recall, when we're dealing with the confessions. You remember the forms were not similar. Hello,
I was not involved in the confession at that point, my lord.
You remember?
Indeed, my lord.
Yeah, they're not similar. Mrs. Yoon came with a form. Mr. Colonel, yeah, the big gentleman, Limboto, they all came with different forms. But anyway, I'm not even making a finding, but I think all we're arguing about is Section 35. That's all. That's the premier law in South Africa concerning the rights of an accused person. So this is just recommendations. That's why even that document, which that gentleman in Khafreni says, the senior prosecutor says, it must be clear that you're dealing with Section 35. And I'm saying, we dealt with thing in 1931. I was not even born then. And we also did this when we were doing this case of Seth Cooper here in this court. 1962, no, sorry, 1972, when Sasso, Steve Biko, and all those gentlemen were being charged. They had the same argument about what does this form say. And the judge, who was Feljun, he was the JP of this division, Boshoff, he said, no, what is important is the rights. These are recommendations. Once there are, and he gave us this silly example, if you come into a police station and you find that there is no document which is enacted in a form of a confession, you don't tell the guy, hamba. You can take a free page like this one. You can take a free page and write warning statement and warn the guy in terms of Section 35. That document is valid. That's the law. Okay, fine, we can continue. Unless the doctor here. Doctor, am I talking?
I agree with the court.
I think it's more a question of substance over form.
Yeah. That's why I'm making that example, that we had 3 forms of different confessions. Rapudi came with 1, Mboto came with 1, and Mrs. Kronje came with 1. Maybe you can argue then that all these confessions are not confessions. Maybe fine. Then you can succeed, I don't know. But when he was asked, Mrs. Kronje, for instance, where do you get this from? He said, I get it from Mrs. Kruger, you remember? He's my head. And we normally take confessions using this form. Mboto is an old colonel. He said the same thing. Okay. So you guys can argue this thing. Right, sir? You want Nina Bar, you can call him, no problem.
My lord, I think there is something that the court is missing here. You are talking about that warning statement.
Yeah, fine.
That says each time a witness is interviewed, that specific form must be used. Now, we had an occasion And the court has just indicated that a person can get into a police station and say, I want to make a confession. And the policeman would then have to take a paper and say, and write on top, this is a confession, and takes down whatever that person wants to say.
Right.
But the scenario that we are involved with here, or handling here, is different from what the court has just mentioned, because Mr. Brigadier Kininda said, I spoke to accused number 2, and this is what he told me. Actually, I interviewed him, and there was no paper involved there. And the court has just correctly said that there needs to be something written down. But in this instance, which is what actually caused this whole inquiry here, is that there was nothing written down when Brigadier Kininda first met accused number 1, which then number 2, which culminated to all the confessions and everything.
Now, that's not the evidence I listened to. The evidence I listened to was that accused number 2
Yes.
at Carltonville.
Mine, yes, madam.
Yes.
You were told by Ms. Mohani
Yes.
to say she has spoken to accused number 2,
Yes.
and accused number 2 wants to talk with me. Am I correct?
That is accused number 1, Mohona, my lord.
Mohona, yeah, sorry.
Yes.
Yeah. And then you went and introduced yourself, took out your card, you were in your car, then you engaged him, and then you warned him of his rights.
Correct, my lord.
And then he said to you, after having warned of his rights, he wants to make a statement.
To an independent
That's it.
person.
And you said, look, I'll get you some wood. That's the evidence I listened to.
That is exactly what I'm saying, my lord. That is exactly what I'm saying.
Let's go ahead. You can continue cross-examining if you want to still.
I'm very disturbed, my lord. I must really tell the court that I'm very disturbed, because as I'm trying to explain, then the court cuts me down, and the court, but when it's time for the state to explain,
but now
then
you're
the court
arguing
is-
with me, and I'm telling you how I remember the evidence.
But that is exactly what I'm saying. my lord. I want to put what I'm saying in proper
continue
perspective.
cross-examining this witness,
Right.
not me.
No, I'm not cross-examining the court, but what I'm saying to the court is that the court needs also to give me an opportunity to respond. For instance, the court has asked Mr. Sibanda whether what the court is saying is correct or not. It did not afford me the opportunity to respond to the court.
You read my judgment, no problem.
Thank you.
Whether I think I'm right or wrong.
Thank you, my lord. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yes, let's continue.
Yes. Now, Brigadier, I've just put to you an assertion that by virtue of saying that there is there's no authority that says what specific document must be used when one takes a warning statement from a suspect, that is wrong. And you've said you still stand by what you're saying, that there's no such authority, not so?
Mnumzana uBrigadier, lapho ke besakhuluma khona malanga nodaba lokuthi awukho ke umthetho oniphoqayo esiphoyiseni wangaphansi kwesiphoyiseni noma la eNingizimu Afrika ekuthizeni kwamele nisebenzise idocument elithizeni elikhethekile uma ngaba nithatha ke inkulumo komsolwa asithi mhlambe uma ungaba kunengxoxo phakathi kwephoyisa nomsolwa asithi interview lapho ke.
My lord, I've said, and I'm standing by it, that there is no policy that says a specific form must be used when you take a warning statement. That's what even the policy holder says, my lord.
Uyasho khona njalo ufakaza ukuthi lapho ke awukho ke umthetho othizeni okhethekile obaphoqayo ukuthi kumele basebenzise idocument elikhethekile elithizeni uma ngaba benenkulumo nabasolwa futhi ne policy head nayo isho kona lokho.
But lastly, my lord, but just to put it in context, because it's important for me, it is also incorrect, because I'm here and it was referred to me, it's incorrect to say when I interviewed accused number 2, nothing was written, but also number 1, but specific accused 2 is not true. We dealt with my diary. It was in court, and the court asked me to make my diary available, where I made notes of my interaction that led to the confession. To say now nothing was written at all, as if it was just a discussion that was not written down, it's not correct. I made my diary available and copies in relation to accused number 2, but also accused number 1 is documented there, my lord.
Uyasho futhi khona njalo jobe lakhe inkulu bakhe ukuthi mayelana nodaba oluqhamukile phambi kwenkantolo ukuthi ngesikhathi esadane inkulumo nomsola wesibili futhi nomsola wokuqala ke akukho lutho la akukho la kade abhala khona ke phansi. Uyasho cha lokho lawo ke amanga ngoba kune diary yakhe kade ayisebenzisa ke la kade abhala khona ke futhi nenkantolo yamcela mayamphoqa ekuthize diary leyo ibe khona le nkantolo bese diary kwezana la nkantolo la kade abhala khona ke mayelana nesikhathi lesi kade ufakazi khulumisana nomsola wokuqala futhi nomsola wesibili.
Now, I'm not so sure whether you are aware of a book that was written for the South African Police Services in its entirety, from senior to junior level members, managers and everything.
Anginaso isiqiniseko yini sokuthi ngabe unalo yini ulwazi lencwadi abayibhalayo abezesiphoyisa uqala laba abancane kufika ukuze kufince kubaphathi bakhona ke.
That was written. I'm not done. I just gave the interpreter the opportunity to interpret what I was saying.
Athi umile kaqedile ngokukhuluma ke ubuya futhi aqedele ngenkulumo yakhe ngoba ngaphambi lesikhathi ukuthi ukhulumeke.
That book was written by, amongst others, Brigadier N.F. van Graan and Colonel T. de Camper.
Athi nceda khona ke abhala ke abo brigadier ababili ke o Brigadier van Graan futhi Brigadier the second Brigadier
N.F. van Graan
and
Colonel T. de Camper.
No, Colonel T. de Camper.
The same guy. The same guy, no?
Oh, which guy, man?
Just show the advocate this document which he attested to. Just show it.
No. The affidavit was written by Nina Bar. The commissioner was the Camper.
I'm saying the Camper, is he the same guy? That's all I'm saying, asking. That's
No,
all.
I don't know whether it's the same guy.
Okay, fine. It just has
I don't work with them. I don't know
Yeah.
whether it's the same guy.
But that is now Brigadier de Camper. Okay, fine, no problem.
And I don't know where the court is heading to with this, my lord. Because I don't know. If the court asks me, is that the same guy? I don't know. I'm not working in the subs.
No, it's because I read with understanding. This guy officiated at the signing of an affidavit where the allegations which are made by Peter Ninabar is that if he makes a false statement.
My lord, I don't know him.
Yeah, fine, okay.
I've never met him.
No problem, no
so if the court asks me if that is the same guy, what should I say? I do not know him.
Okay, fine.
Yes. Now, those people, the gentlemen that I've mentioned, Brigadier N.F. van Graan and Colonel T. de Camper, with the legal support, the policing and detention services of the South African Police Services.
Athi labalisa ababili ke noma laba hlonishwa ababili bezesiphoyisa bakhuluma ngabo kabo brigadier laba ke futhi lieutenant colonel u-N.F. van Graan futhi no T. de Camper bona ke basebenza lapho ngaphansi zesiphoyisa kwizikhundla zabo zaba policy in legal policing
support policing and detention services of the South African Police Services.
Support services lapha ke noma detention support services as a subs.
Now, further, in writing this book, certain members of the South African Police Services also made a contribution. They are the following.
Ngesikhathi sikubhaka incwadi lena ke futhi nabanye abasebenza ngaphansi kwesiphoyisa ke nabo bathi balekelela noma basiza futhi laba balandelayo.
Major General M. van Rooyen.
To Major General van Rooyen.
He's a head legal support policing and detention.
Athi nayo sebenza lapho head legal servicing and detention.
Brigadier J.A. van der Walt.
Brigadier J.A. van der Walt.
Legal support.
Usebenza ngaphansi kwe legal support.
Policing and detention.
Policing and detention.
Brigadier P.W. Ninaber.
Brigadier P. PW Ninaberg.
PW Ninaberg.
Ninaberg.
Yes. It's from the Governance, Policy and Legislation Management.
Usebenza lapho ngaphansi kwe-governance, policy and legislation.
Brigadier MD Bobby
No Brigadier MD Bobby.
from Legal Support, Policing and Detention.
Na usebenza lapho legal support and detention.
It's Colonel M. Mate,
No Colonel M Mate.
Legal Support, Policing and Detention.
Na usebenza ngaphansi kwe-legal support and detention.
Lieutenant Colonel M. Fessel
Lieutenant Colonel M Fessel.
from the South African Police Services International Relations.
Na usebenza ngaphansi kwe-South African Police Services lapho usebenza khona-ke umkhakha kuwona-ke umkhakha we-international relations.
Lieutenant Colonel M. Masindi,
Lieutenant Colonel M Masindi.
Legal Support, Policing and Detention.
Na usebenza ngaphansi kwe-legal support and detention.
Lieutenant Colonel J. M. Murray
Lieutenant Colonel MJ Muley.
from Legal Support, Policing and Detention.
Na usebenza ngaphansi kwe-legal support and detention.
Captain R.R. Nelamvi,
Futhi no Captain LR RR
Nelamvi
Nelamvi.
is also from the Legal Support, Policing and Detention.
Na usebenza ngaphansi kwe-legal support and detention.
This gentleman wrote a book for the South African Police Services that comprises of 448 pages. Are you aware of that book?
Le ncwadi lena 444.
448 pages.
Incwadi khona-ke kukethi amakhasi-ke awu-448 aphelele. Ngabona ulwazi layo yini.
Are you aware of that book?
My lord, if I may ask, what is the book about?
Uma ngabuza ngabe incwadi mayelana nani?
Now, it's about the operations within South African Police Services.
Imelana nendlela yokusebenza-ke ngaphakathi komkhakha wezesiphoyisa noma kwezesiphoyisa.
No, but well, I'm not aware. If that title, my lord, I'm not aware. What I know is that the PW Ninaba that the defense is referring to, it is the same brigadier that gave me this affidavit. The camper who was a colonel then that I'm aware of is a brigadier now, is still in the same division, and that is the brigadier that commissioned this
I've asked
affidavit.
you about the book, not about the people, the book. Are you aware of this book?
My lord, a statement was, there was an assertion or statements put before the question came, and a lot of names were read to me. I'm not sure now how could it be wrong when I comment about the names that were given to me. I didn't come up and put these names in what the advocate is asking me. He read the names that the book was written by these people, and these people contributed in the writing of the book. And I'm saying the only similar people or the known names to me in terms of their location is the two brigadiers. But without knowing the contents of the book, then I'm not aware of it. I'm aware of standing orders that governs the operation in terms of the standing orders, but I'm not aware of the book that deals with operations. That's why I wanted to know what is the book about, my lord.
Uyasho khona-ke njalo ufakazi uma ngabe aphendula-ke mayelana nombuzo othi ubuzwa-ke ummeli ukuthi ngabe unalo yini ulwazi lencwadi lena-ke kade abuza ukuthi incwadi kade asitshela ngayo-ke futhi nabantu abasiza ekuthizeni kubhalwa kwencwadi la kamagama wabo-ke bese ufakazi waphendula washo wathi ubrigadier PW Ninaba uyena-ke obhalile istatement lesi ade asilethile phambi kwenkantolo mayelana nodaba lwama-warning statement mayelana nodaba lwama-warning statement futhi unokuzana Brigadier T.D. Camper naye-ke futhi naye uyena kade commission statement lesi ade akhulume ngaso senziwa-ke ubrigadier Ninaba kepha-ke ufunde amagama amaningi-ke ummeli-ke lapho-ke futhi eqhubeka washo khona nje wathi amagama la akade wafunda-ke futhi amagama abantu ade besiza-ke ekuthizeni kubhalwa kwencwadi leyo-ke noma kade belekelela ekuthizeni kubhalwa kwencwadi leyo-ke.
Thank you. Just for interest's sake, one esteemed figure who also contributed towards the writing of this book is Professor John Dugat. I doubt if you know him, but let me give you a brief of a background with the Professor John Dugat. He's been part of the panel, he's been part of the members who went to the International Court of Justice and stated a case that was brought by South Africa against the war in between Israel and Hamas. Professor John Dugat.
I don't know what is the basis for Advocate Mnisi to assume
He's saying, oh yeah, I hear you.
to
No, he
assume
won't know
that
him.
the witness doesn't know Professor
He
John
won't know him.
Dugat. But in
I'm sure
all,
he does.
in all
Let's hear
fairness,
from him, man.
yes, but in all fairness, my lord, I think it's also important to mention the year in which this book is published to give as
I'm
many
coming there,
As
Mr.
well as the
Wandoyi.
edition.
I'm going to argue about Professor Dugat. He's actually a friend of mine. He taught me
Yes,
at Wits
yes,
under apartheid.
yes. And he's still there.
And
Very esteemed figure,
I
man.
used to use him
Yes.
as an expert
Yes.
on international law when I was still defending ANC operatives. And he is the first jurist in South Africa to use the Geneva Conventions in fighting the Terrorism Act. And the judge who was sitting here, it was K. Lewis. He gave my client Tele Moerane. You must have read about Tele Moerane.
I know him. Man.
Yes?
Yes.
He hung him. He gave him a sentence of hanging him. So I know.
That's death, is death penalty, man.
Yes.
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 My lord, if I may also
Yes.
they say that Professor Dugat taught me at Wits.
Yes.
Yes, sir. We're bragging about him. He was Charles Cassin, myself, Percy Koboza, Reverend Archbishop Tutu.
Yes.
We were members of the Center for Applied Legal Studies
Yes.
with Van der Vijver.
Yes, my lord.
Professor Van der Vijver also.
Yes, yeah, I know. I know. Okay. Yeah. But I should know these guys. I'm 78 years old.
Yes, man.
So, I mean, please.
Now, importantly, he's also a contributor in this book. And if circumstances are going to call, we are going to call the course friend to come and give us a bit of a lecture. But importantly, the name of the book is called Iqabane. Have you ever heard of such a book?
No, my lord.
Thank you.
Ekatasho khona nzathi omunye futhi owalekelela ekuthizeni ibhaleke incwadi leyo ke uProfessor Dugat bese inkantolo yasho ukuthi yakhe uProfessor lo ke umngani wenkantolo futhi ke waphakama umunye ummeli washo nathi very amazi futhi nakade amfundisa ngesikhathi esikade afunda eVets kepha igama lencwadi leyo ke bathi Iqabane kepha ufakazi ngabe uyayazi igama lencwadi yathi Iqabane athi cha akalazi igama lelo.
Thank you, my lord. Just to give this court a bit of a background of what Iqabane is, my lord. No, I'm not, I don't mean comrades. No, I don't mean the comrades, man.
Well, yeah, was Mkondosi's.
I know it, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't mean the...
I should know Iqabane which is.
It's not me, this book, man. I'm not referring to the freedom fighters.
Oh, I see.
Yes. Iqabane, my lord.
My
Is-
mother, wait, before you go any further, my mother is Zulu,
Yes.
so you've heard me.
Yes, man.
Thank you.
Yes.
I'm a CPD
So
smile.
this book called Iqabane is to the police services, South African police services, what the uniform rules of court are to an advocate who's plying his trade in the High Court of South Africa. It is also a book which is what the uniform rules of the court are to a judge who's adjudicating who's adjudicating matters on a daily basis at the High Court, such that if an advocate who plies his trade at the High Court of South Africa and a judge who adjudicates on matters at the High Court of South Africa says, I do not know what uniform rules of court are, they don't belong there, they are misplaced. That is what Iqabane is to members of the South African Police Services.
Athi ke ithi akupheke
Please, no, my learned friend
is busy with argument and cross-examination at the same time. We submit if
Did I hear you correctly?
yes.
I'm not done with my
Oh, I
cross-examination,
see.
but
Okay.
I only was trying to give a perspective of what this Iqabane is. Now that Brigadier Kininda said he does not know this book. So this is not argument. I said to the court, let me explain to the court what Iqabane is. I use an example of the uniform rules of the court. So I don't know what is my colleagues worry about me making such an analogy.
Yes, any other further cross-examination, Mr.
Thank you,
Mnisi?
my lord. Brigadier Kininda, and unfortunately, you have cut my cross-examination very short. If you then not aware of this book, there's nothing that I need to take you on this book. All that I can put to you, all that I'm left with now, is to put to you that the procedure that you used in the interrogation of accused number 2, without using that prescribed form, was very irregular.
Athi-ke ummeli-ke unafakazi usinciphisile-ke inkulumo yakhe kade imibuzo yakhe kade azokubuza yona-ke mara ngoba-ke incwadi leyo thize awuyazi-ke kepha-ke lalela-ke mara nodaba lolu-ke lwenkulumo yakho noma ingxoxo yakho kade unayo-ke nomsolwa lapho ngesikhathi kade unayo-ke awulandelile imigomo ngendlela efanele.
My lord, I'll start with the last part. I totally disagree. There is no, when Advocate Mnisi says prescribed by what policy? They prescribed by what? Because we are governed by the standing orders insofar as the police is concerned. When it comes to the rule of law, it's CPA and also and other related legislation. That's what I understand, my lord. Now, if I'm being told it's governed, it's prescribed by what? I'm not aware of such prescription.
Athi-ke lapho-ke uthanda ukuqala ngephuzu logcina kade akhuluma ngalo-ke ummeli athi lapho-ke cha akahambisani-ke naye-ke ngoba-ke uma ngaba athi umthetho othizeni umthetho okhethekile abakazi bawulandela awukho-ke umthetho onjalo-ke ngoba-ke uma ngaze ungabuka-ke mayelana nezomthetho zala eNingizimu Afrika khona-ke imithetho ekumele ukuthi abantu bayilandele uma ngabe senza-ke izinto.
So I don't agree with the assertion, my lord. With that assertion, I followed what was prescribed in terms of warning the accused according to his Section 35 constitutional right and ensuring that he was in a clear and sober senses, and the process moved from there, my lord.
Athi cha lapho-ke uyala-ke kahambisani-ke nenkulumo kammeli-ke ufakazi ngoba-ke khona-ke lapho-ke nawusebenzisa-ke umgomo noma umthetho ongaphansi uka-Section 5 wezomthetho wala Section 35 wala eNingizimu Afrika ngesikhathi sibabeka nenkulumo yakhe-ke mayelana nomsolo.
Thank you. Let me ask court, my lord.
Oh, I see. Okay, fine.
Yes, I'm placing this information on record. Page 18 of this book, paragraph 5 thereof, speaks about warning statements. What is it that needs to be done? How should warning statements be taken, and what form must be used?
Athi-ke ummeli kifakazi malana nencwadi le beyakhuluma ngayo-ke uma ufika lapho kule cast list 18 ku paragraph 5 lapho-ke ikhuluma mayelana nendlela kumele ukuthi warning statement mali bayithathe kanjani-ke ngayiphi indlela balandele yiphi-ke imigomo.
Thank you. I take it you not have a comment because you do not know this book.
Yeah, but my lord, I'm being put in a very unfair situation. I've said I've not read the book.
Yes.
And it's not a requirement. I've not heard that before you become a police officer, you must go through this book.
Okay,
it was not taught to me even at the college, my lord.
Thank you.
Certain sections within that book to be put to me, what must I say, my lord? Because for me now to comment, I must acquaint myself with the book. It's an unfair situation, my lord.
Thank you, my lord.
Athi-ke ufakazi malana nodaba lwenkulumo yencwadi-ke akanalutho angathi alukhulume-ke udaba lencwadi lena-ke ummeli kade akhuluma ngayo-ke ngoba yena akanalo ulwazi incwadi futhi incwadi akakaze ayifunde futhi incwadi labakazi bamfundise ngesikhathi lesi kade yasekholishi lezesiphoyisa.
Thank you. Brigadier, a person at your level, that's not just an ordinary level. It's a super level. It's a managerial super level, who for all intents and purposes should be aware of this book. Therefore, ignorance of the law in these circumstances will never be an excuse.
Fakazi uyasho ke ummeli khona njalo ukuthi malana nomuntu ke osebenza kwisikhundla osebenza kusona ke ngaphansi kwesiphoyisa ke usuthi afana ke nomuntu ongathi mhlawumbe ukwesikhundla sokuthi ube umanager wesikhundla leso kusona ke kepha ke uthizeni ungafundi incwadi lena kumele kube mhlawumbe into oshayisa undiva leyo.
No, sorry.
Yeah.
We don't really understand the purpose of this proposition that is being put to the witness, and we submit that it should be disallowed, my lord.
I did not hear Mr. Baloyi. What is it that needs to be done with this proposition?
Yes, my lord, to put to a witness that he's ignorant of the law. I don't know what law is being referred to. We submit that is unfair. But my lord, for the past 2 days, Advocate Mnisi has been busy with warning statements and purportedly to challenge the evidence of Brigadier Gininda regarding the investigation that he was busy with regarding accused number 2. And Brigadier Gininda has ad nauseum mentioned that he was not busy with the warning statement. He was not taking a warning statement. He was busy with an investigation. And my lord, we've quoted an instance of a police officer who sees a person carrying a laptop in the street.
Objection, my lord. Objection.
Let him
This
finish.
is argument.
Mr. Mnisi.
This is argument.
Mr.
And I
Mnisi.
am still cross-examining
Let him finish.
Mr. Baloyi, if he wants to take this matter up, you will have ample opportunity in re-examination. This is highly
No, let him finish.
unprocedural.
Let him finish.
The court is condoning it. Thanks, man.
I'm not condoning anything. We've been talking about textbooks and about
Yes.
people being ignorant.
Yes.
And this judge telling you that Dugat is my friend, etc., etc.
Yes.
So I'm sure you can be allowed to
Yes.
tell us what you think.
My lord, we're just elaborating on the objection that we are raising. Advocate Mnisi is busy with collateral issues. Collateral issues are only limited to, or only allowed to a certain limited extent. When a witness answers or gives an answer to a collateral issue, that should be the end of the matter. The question of warning statements we submit, it's a collateral issue. What the witness has testified about, it's the investigation that he was busy with, not a warning statement. He has testified that at a much later stage, a warning statement of the accused was taken. And my lord, we've mentioned the instance where a police officer sees a person walking in the street carrying what could be a suspected stolen property, perhaps a laptop. He approaches that person to say, in terms of Section 36, I suspect you to perhaps be in possession of a stolen property. You may give an explanation. You're not obliged to give such an explanation. He's busy with an investigation at that stage. He's not taking a warning statement. If that suspect prefers to give a warning statement, to give an explanation, he will then, if he says, I bought it from a certain place, the police officer will then go there, establish if it has been bought there, and if indeed it has been bought there, it will be the end of the matter. But if it can be, there's no need to take a warning statement at that stage. He's busy with an investigation. And if perhaps it is established that he did not buy the equipment there and he decides to charge the person, then he takes him to the police station. He says, listen, you are under arrest, I'm charging you, and you can then make a warning statement. And that's precisely, my lord, what happened here. He was busy with an investigation, and a warning statement followed much later.
Yeah, you guys can argue all these aspects.
May I respond?
Yeah.
Actually reply.
Yeah,
Because
reply
I
or
made a
respond. No
supposition.
problem.
He responded, then I reply. That in terms of a standing procedure.
Yes, you can respond and reply.
No, I'm replying, my lord, not
Fine.
responding. He was responding.
Yeah, fine.
Actually, he raised an objection through a response.
Okay.
The state, my lord, is lost. And I'm saying that with great respect is lost. Because at the center of what we are busy with now, there was a statement that was introduced that Brigadier Kininda was taken through that statement. The wording of that statement says, each time a suspect is interviewed, this document must be used. That is the gist of this inquiry, my lord. And Brigadier Kininda said, no, we need to consult, we need to get a permission from the prosecutors to get a statement. You can only use this statement when you have been authorized or you have consulted with the DPP or the prosecutors and everything. But the information on that document is very specific. Each time the suspect is interviewed, this document must be used. Now I've referred to this court. I've taken Brigadier to a book that was written by these honorable people, one of which is a friend of yours, my lord, that deals exactly with that specific aspect. And I'm going to take that up on argument. Thank you, my lord.
Okay, no
Let
problem.
me finalize my cross-examination, my lord.
Yes, go on, go on.
Please, just to
Now I don't
respond
know what procedure is.
to what Marlene said. He has raised a point, and we are entitled to address the point. If one looks at this form, and this point has been debated ad nauseum, paragraph 1.a says, the station commander must consult with the prosecutor in circumstances in which the prosecutor requires a warning statement. It clearly says a warning statement, and that is the point that we are trying to buttress here, my lord.
Okay, yes, Mr. Mnisi, any further cross-examination?
Professor John Dugat is your friend, my lord.
Yeah, boy. When he was still the dean of the Faculty of Law
Yes.
at Wits, and Pfeiffer was working under him.
Yes.
And he was also in the council with Bezos, Charles Casson, Ante Halter,
Yes, my lord.
Sogot.
Yes.
You've heard of all these guys? Sogot. He died recently.
I think I've read something about him, my lord.
Yes.
Because I'm reading a lot.
Yes, that's good.
Yes.
That's good.
And I'm reading relevant material, my lord. Legal material.
That's
yes.
good.
Thank you, my lord.
Okay.
Let me just approach accused
Yeah,
number
fine,
3
fine,
to
fine.
hear if there is anything that I need to.
My lord, if I may also approach accused.
Yes.
I mean, that's it, my lord. Thank you.
Which years were you at Wits?
From 1989 to 94.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, my lord, may I approach accused number 3?
89.
Thank you, my lord.
Thank you for the indulgence, my lord.
Is that it?
I've got no further questions, my lord. Thank you.
Okay. Re-examination? Is it tomorrow or today?
There can't be a re-exam now, my lord, because accused number 1's case is still coming. We're just pending everything.
I
We're
see.
putting everything in a
You're right, you're right, yeah, you're
Yes.
right, you're right.
kade asokhona ke njalo ummeli wakhe ke msolo wesithathu uthi uqedile ke ngobuza ke imibuzo kumfakazi okhona lapha phambi kwenkantolo ke
the court will recall the arrangements that we discussed with the court
Right.
in chambers yesterday, and the arrangements will now come into effect. And I think maybe Advocate Mnisi should rather be the
Are
one.
you still continue with what you said you wanted to launch an application?
Yes, my lord.
Because the JP is seated there, he's listening to you.
Where?
At the back there. Don't worry, you want to see him?
I wanted to welcome him officially, my lord.
Yeah.
Yes.
He asked me about, I told him about the application.
Yes.
He wants to have a chat with all you guys.
No, thank you, my lord.
I want to have a chat with all of you.
So I'm not so sure whether then should I bring this application
No.
now or should we
You can
then
bring it,
rather
you can
arrange
bring
to
it.
go and see the JP first?
You can bring it because
Thank you, my
he's
lord.
worried about the pace of this case.
Thank you, my
And
lord.
rightly so.
My lord, as I've indicated to the court in chambers, I was requested to assist with the representation of accused number one, which request I accepted. However, on account of the fact that although I was part of the proceedings, but I wasn't representing accused number one then, I was exclusively involved with accused number three. Now that I've been requested and accepted the request to also assist with the representation of accused number one, I deem it very prudent and very judicious for me to request that I be afforded an opportunity to go and read the record, particularly those portions as they relate to accused number one. All the assertions that should have been made by him, the level of cross-examination, etc., and also decide, my lord, whether or not there will be a need. Okay, before making such a decision, I also need to consult with him very thoroughly. If he has got witnesses, I also will have to consult with his witnesses even before I come to court and put certain versions that will come as a result of my consultation with him and those witnesses. So on the basis of that information, my lords, I am going to request that I be afforded an opportunity to, I've already started to read the records, but I need to indicate that it is voluminous, my lords. It is very voluminous. And in the process of reading, I also need to analyze. I need to analyze and also create konje bathini ngesilungu ukubungula izinto.
Collate.
Yes, to collate, my lord. Now that is going. That's taking time. It's not an overnight thing, my lord. Hence, I then spoke to my colleagues and suggested that after my cross-examination, after I finalized my cross-examination of Brigadier Kinindo on behalf of accused number 3, I'm going to approach the court with the request that I be afforded an opportunity for at least 2 weeks for me to go and sit down, study the information, the record, which is up to now almost around about 35,000 pages. And also go and consult with Mr. Sibia, who is not here in Pretoria, is at Morabi, at Bloemfontein. Yes, it's Bloemfontein.
Who's at Bloemfontein?
Oh, I'm told it's in the East Rand, my lord. Morabi is in the East Rand. In Pinoni.
Israel, you don't know your country.
I do not know jails, my lord.
No.
Morabi is a jail.
It's not a jail, it's a country.
I know churches, my lord. Yes,
Morabi.
but nonetheless, my lord, I'll have to go to Morabi, go and consult with him there.
Yeah, fine.
And I'm very thorough in consultation, my lords. I just don't go through the emotions. My consultations are very thorough, that I must say. So I don't know how many days that consultation is going to take, but the total of all that I'm trying to bring to the attention of the court is that I am unable to start with my cross-examination now on behalf of accused number 1 to Brigadier Kininda. We had worked out a sort of a formula that I can go utilize the 2 weeks from today up to next week, and then we reconvene again on the 3rd, just for me to come and give an update as to how far am I with the process of preparing for the defense of accused number 1's case, my lord. Thank you, my lord.
Yes, Mr.
Kade yasho khona ke
Ngakasho uthi sizwe abanye bathini. Mr. Ramusipidi.
As the court pleases, my lord, as per our discussions, I am amenable that Advocate Mnisi be given an opportunity to prepare the defense for accused number 1, my lord, as the court pleases.
Yes, Msholo.
I have no objection, my lord, just per the discussion.
It's not immutable, that discussion. I told you just now that JP is around. There he is.
But JP was not there, my lord, we were together.
Yeah, he's the head of the court. You'll be surprised. Hello?
My lord, these are unusual circumstances. No one foresaw that the legal representative of accused number 1 will unfortunately pass on. And this is after certain propositions were made. We are of the view that the legal right to, or the constitutional right to legal representation has got to be given effect to, which entails taking proper instructions, going through, canvassing all the relevant material, and this is what Advocate Mnisi is asking. And, my lord, we indicated that we are not going to object, and we therefore, my lord, support his request to be given time to canvass all these issues, my lord.
So the date after 2 weeks is how long? The Monday.
It is suggested, my lord, that we reconvene again on the 3rd of February.
What is that date? Is it Monday, Tuesday?
It's on a Monday, my lord.
3rd of February.
On the 3rd of February.
Will that be the last request or what? We don't know.
I don't know, my lord, really, I don't know.
Why don't we adjourn for a week and then you come and assess your position after that? Doesn't it make more sense? Yeah,
My lord, from today until the 3rd, it's almost a week. From today until the 3rd.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I'm just saying, doesn't it make more sense to come and back, like I did on the 8th, like all of you did on the 8th. I broke my Christmas vacation and came to court. Why don't we do the same? We come on Monday and see how far Mr. Mnisi is.
Which Monday, my lord? The only Monday we have is
next week.
And the following Monday is the 3rd when we will be back.
You say it's a holiday on Monday.
My lord, I'm saying the first Monday next week
Yeah.
will be too soon for council to be able to give a feedback. And the next Monday will be the 3rd, which is a week, almost a week from now, my lord.
You don't read on Saturdays, eh?
No, it's Sabbath on
You don't read on Saturdays.
I've just indicated to the court, my lord, that I know churches.
You what?
I know churches. On a Saturday, is Sabbath Lingwele, my lord. So we pay homage to our Maker.
Okay, fine. Let's postpone then, for those reasons, to the 3rd. And the trial will continue as from the 3rd until, hopefully, it's finalized. Okay.
as it is the court.
Kade acelile ke isicelo sakhe ummeli ke okadamele ke umsola wesithathu ukuthi kukhona ke isicelo abasicela ke abasolwa la inkantolo thizeni ke amele ke umsola oqala noma isicelo esaqhamuka thizeni amele ke umsola oqala ngemuva ukuthi ummeli womsola oqala bekashonile umnumzana ke umngomezulu ke manje isicelo sakhe ukuthi khona manje ke icala libahlehlise for amasonto amabili ngenhloso manje ngembangela ukuthi ziyahlale phansi ke nomsola oqala akhulumisane naye ngoba ngeke aqale ke inkulumo yakhe noma aqale kubuza ke imibuzo kumnumzana okhona enkantolo ngaphansi kwesifungo ufakazi ubrigadier ke ngoba ke kumele ukuthi ahlale phansi naye akhulumisane naye futhi alalele yonke lonke usicelo la enkantolo ngesikhathi lesi kade beletha ufakazi la enkantolo futhi umsola oqala ke naye asho ukuthi yini mkhamba ngathanda ukuthi ayibuze ke kumfakazi la enkantolo futhi nanokuthi uma ngabe unabo yini abafakazi bakhe anabo abakhethekile nabo kwamele ukuthi atsheleke ummeli ukuthi unabo abafakazi futhi abafakazi bakhe naye kumele ukuthi akhulumisane nabo ke ummeli abafakazi bakamsola.
Is that it? Mr. Brigadier, will you be available?
On the 3rd, my lord.
You are not going to Stelfontein mine.
No, my lord. I'll be available, my lord.
You will be available.
Yes, I'll shift things around.
Okay.
So, just before we wrap up today, I had previously requested through the court that Brigadier Gininda tried to find out for me if the reconstruction video that was conducted on the 16th of March 2015 was still available. Just to assist him, my lord, the person that took that video is Warrant Officer Dirk Johannes Boysen, and the PR number is 9/03/2016, my lord. So if that can be followed up via this PR number, perhaps it can be located.
I will assist him, my lord. I think between now and the next court date, we'll communicate with Mr. Ramsetul.
As the court places on the
Mr. Mnisi, it may interest you to hear this silly story about the case that I was telling you Dugats gave evidence in this very court in 1986, I think. Yeah, this group of 76. It was 1984. We called Dugats to come and present a document on our behalf.
Yes, ma'am.
That ANC cadres are covered by the Geneva Convention of 1949.
Yes.
And consequently, they cannot be charged under the Terrorism Act because they are soldiers of war.
Yes.
If you read your 1949 document about soldiers of war pertaining to guys who are fighting for freedom in their respective countries.
Yes, those international instruments, man.
That's it, yeah,
Yes.
1949, yeah.
Yes.
And we rubbed Louis the wrong way. He asked us, are you saying South Africa is not a sovereign state? Because the ANC apparently signed those protocols on behalf of South Africa.
Yes.
Israel to and then Louis, after that, he was facing the wall. He never faced us after that. Because he said, we don't want to acknowledge that South Africa is a sovereign
It's
state.
a sovereign state, yes.
And unfortunately, as you know, he sentenced, it was Tsotsobe,
Yeah.
and Mokherane, and the third guy, I think it's the tall boy. I think it's Beiding Gubani, something like that. On Friday, he sentenced them to death. We prepared a notice of appeal and spoke to Kerr Lewis that we will be moving it on Monday.
Yes.
Monday, when we came to court, he looked at us and told Jack Unterhalter, the father to David Unterhalter,
Yes.
that unfortunately, Mr. Unterhalter, your clients have escaped to a higher jurisdiction. And we didn't understand what.
Yes.
Then he says, I'm told they were hung on Saturday morning. So they're out of my jurisdiction.
Summarily.
Yeah, they were hung.
They were
That's what
just
we
hanged
should do.
summarily.
Yeah, so our application,
Was nullified.
yes. You must ask Jugat about that story.
Yes.
After that, he was recommended, Jugat, to go to the International Court of Justice.
Yes.
You know he served there.
Yes, ma'am. Well, at certain quarters, Judge Ken Lewis was a very good judge.
He was a genius.
Yes.
Let's be fair.
Yes.
K. Lewis never kept notes.
Yes.
Never kept notes. Everything in his head. He once ran an arbitration case. It involved a lot of corruption at the then Jan Smuts Airport. You see that the ground around the airport, it used to belong to some Afrikaner farmers.
Yes.
And when they decided to enlarge the precinct of the airport,
Yes.
there was a guy called Agliotti. He owned that piece of ground.
I assume it's not the Agliotti in the Zondo Commission.
No, it's not the guy I gave bail the other day. But you see, K. Lewis, I think for 3 to 5 months, he sat in that arbitration, never took notes, and he delivered the judgment.
Yes.
Award. You heard about his retentive powers.
I know that he was some body above the level of others, my lord.
No, no doubt.
Yes.
No doubt.
Thank you, madam.
Okay.
My Lord, yeah, on a lighter note, I wanted to say,
Yeah.
contrary to what Advocate Mnisi is saying, I do know who's Professor Dukat, and I actually interacted
Yeah.
with Professor Grant as well from
Grant,
that
yeah.
facility. And ironically, I dealt with them on a specific matter where they were the defense and I was representing the state. So contrary to his understanding, I think it's wrong.
No,
Grant is
Brigadier
not-
Kinina cannot represent the state, madam. The state is always represented by prosecutors. Now he's claiming victories which are not there.
Grant,
I'm
sorry,
saying
Grant?
As the IO, as
Grant
the
went
police.
to
Or as an
Australia now,
IO.
no?
Yes, as the
Okay,
IO.
yeah.
Is that-
And Professor Grant.
Yeah, he went to Australia.
Indeed, my Lord. Yes,
Yeah,
when he
right.
was still at VETS.
Right, yeah, no.
Correct, my Lord. So I just want to put that.
You're smiling, mister. It's only not football, I know. I know some other things also. All right? Short will adjourn.